Welcome to our second video, sponsored by Buddhist Prison Ministry. This is a short video, number 2, on so you've decided that you do want to work in a prison or a jail. How do you start? What do you do? I get asked a lot of times, how do I start? I don't know where to begin. So it's kind of easy, kind of difficult. The first thing I suggest you do is you identify the closest facilities to where you live. Go to the state's Department of Justice or Department of Corrections website and see which facility is close to you. Why do you want it close to you? Well, because a lot of times you will drive to the facility only to be turned away for a myriad of reasons. So you really don't want to be driving 4 hours, for example, to be turned away because of fog or because of a lockdown. And given that you will be a volunteer, likely you're the low person on the totem pole, you will probably not be informed at that lockdown or that closure. So you want to make sure that your self-care can stay in balance with your driving time. If you can, contact the community partners manager or community relations manager that should be listed on the facilities website that you've located. Contact that person and ask them if they can have a conversation with you, if they're willing. If you can, which they can be consistently difficult to get in touch with, if you can, then ask them what programs are currently happening. Tell them what your skill set is. If you'd like to present a Dharma program or a Buddhist program or a meditation program, it might serve you well to offer it first as more of an interfaith or no faith kind of mindful meditation class or something like that, because not all prisons, in fact, I would say most prisons and jails, especially when you get off the West Coast, are not really friendly to organizations or programs that are not Christian based or maybe 12-step based. It's useful before you talk to that CRM to maybe see if on the website of the facility there is a place for volunteer. Before I made this video, I went to some of the more difficult prisons websites, difficult meaning violent or hostile to volunteers and across the United States. And what I found was really surprising. Even though they were difficult and hostile to volunteers often, they had really good volunteer manuals. So it's a hugely wonderful free resource to go to the facilities website and see, look through the volunteer manual. There might be a phone number there, there might be an address there, whatever it is, you're going to have to be the squeaky wheel to get somebody to respond, whether it be a CRM who might be in charge of the volunteers or it would be somebody else. If you cannot find a CRM or the CRM or the contact person on the volunteer page isn't available, locate a chaplain. They can also be pretty hard to get a response from. Prison chaplains are a rare breed, and they suffer, I would say, frequently from a lot of burnout and overwork having to do with a lot of the red tape that prisons demand chaplains plow through. More on that later, but in any case, be the squeaky wheel. If you can't contact the CRM or they won't return your call, try and find a chaplain. If you can get your foot in the door with maybe interning or apprenticing with a program, that would be great. If you are proposing a new program, be really clear on your proposal, really clear on your proposal. Be clear on how frequently you want to hold the group. be clear on the potential outcomes that you're hoping. It's also useful if you're proposing a program to go to find out from the chaplain or the CRM or the website if there are specific designations of programs. For example, some programs are designated RAC programs, it's recreational, oh gosh, I don't even remember, and others are designated something else. And each designation has a different requirement for hours or time, and that has to do with giving inmates credit for taking your programs. If you would like to present a Buddhist group, you're welcome to let the chaplain or the CRM know that you're working with, if you want. You can work with our curriculum, our workbooks. That's great. I highly suggest, if you want to just kind of get your feet wet, that you start a Houses of Healing program in the prison. And that program has been available through lionheart.org for a number of years, maybe 20 years or more. It's in hundreds of prisons. And I found it to be one of the most fulfilling programs, one of the most accessible programs, and one of the most transformative programs when I worked in the prison. So you can go to lionheart.org. It's really good to know ahead of time that whatever you present is going to have to fit into the structure that the prison holds for programs, and that you're likely not to get permission to do one-on-ones. For example, you're going to have to start where they have you start, which is sometimes with a volunteer orientation program and maybe even a bit of an exam, and then you'll still have to be possibly um, escorted in and out of the prison, and you will need to adhere to the dress code. There's so much that you have to do to comply, to conform, to go into a prison or a jail to work. So finally know that prisons and jails are where Mercury retrograde trains and impermanence lives, and let go of all expectations as you move forward. It can be daunting. It can take a whole lot of tenacity to finally get in. But once you're in, as long as you obey the rules and um, have good boundaries and know why you're there and do your own work, it can be an incredibly rewarding opportunity for you and for the incarcerated people as well. So that's it for this little lesson on what do you do, how do you get in. So see you in lesson 3.